Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day, whatever day it might be. Not sure anymore so much. I am so thankful to see everybody and to be with everybody today, with you, with Nama. And I'm going to go really fast because very selfishly, I want to soak in every single drop of the teaching today. Nama, no pressure. Very much counting on you today to make everything all right. But I want to just quickly remind us all how we gather. And if you feel like saying hi to each other in the chat while I'm talking, please do so. And while I'm talking, take a minute to make yourself comfortable by grabbing a warm drink, something to write with and to write on. First of all, if this is your first time here, hi and welcome. I am so glad that you found your way here to Ogen. I'm Ariella, the founding director of SVIVAH. We just want to be learning with and from each other. We all are holding so much. We define both women and Jewish very broadly. So if you want to be with us, we want you with us and welcome. These next 30 minutes are a gift. They are our opportunity to just press pause in our day and the way we start our week, the way the world is running absolutely faster than we are, a chance to plant our feet a little bit more firmly and gain a little bit of steadiness to take into this week, whatever it may hold. If you don't know Naama, but many of you do, but Naama is a gorgeous educator and scholar. Her teaching style often interweaves the psychological with the spiritual, with the feminine, and it is a unique way of teaching, unlike anything I have ever learned before. If you're new to Naama's teaching, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Please don't be worried if you hear Hebrew mentioned. Everything will come into translation and understanding, but the beauty of the Hebrew is definitely a piece of what elevates the learning. I want to say hello and welcome to Jordan Rosansky, who's here. And we missed you the last couple of times. It's so wonderful to be with you again. And I am thankful to Naama always for her teaching, but today especially. I know that today's teaching will be dedicated to Taanit Esther, the fast of Esther, which we'll hear more about. And I thank Naama for allowing us to expand this space a little bit to hold everything that I think all of us are holding. And I am grateful beyond measure to Rabbanit Dahlia Davis, who is here to help us gather today, and to the amazing Rabbanit Eliza Sperling, who is threatening to join us actually from Jerusalem if she can.
She's here. She's here.
Well, even better. I'm like not breathing. We've been very worried about you, and it is really good to be with you and to see your face today. So thank you, Eliza, for being here. It is, this is what today is supposed to be about. So thank you, everyone, for being together, for gathering together, and thank you, Naama, for the gift of this beautiful space that you have created for us.
Um, hey, so as usual, we're gonna step into our Ogen space, and I'm reminding all of us that Ogen means anchor. Ogen in Hebrew means anchor. And what we're doing here is we're trying to put some little anchors into the ground or the sky or whatever it is that you want to anchor you, so that we can have a sense of stability, a sense of balance in times that are very murky and fast moving. And my impression is, I don't know. I mean, it's possible that we're going to live in like just uncertain times with no close end. That's how it feels. I kind of felt that I have to release the idea that we're going to go back to stability soon. Might not happen. We might be like in this kind of like crisis after crisis after crisis. And I'm really asking myself, okay, and how do we live in these times? And luckily, we have traditions that survived thousands of years, which means they are life affirming. If something survives for so long, it's life affirming. And what we're trying to do in Ogen is just to find how this gives us grounding, how this gives us anchoring, and we're going to one word every week. And I have to say that I feel like I am very grateful to everyone who's here because I feel like words have lost so much of their weight in the last years, decades at this point. People use words. No one cares how they use words anymore. All this virtual spaces and the ability to use words without your name and without real people, and all these bots and chats and all these things. I'm too old to know them. Words kind of like are used very loosely, and I think what we're doing here is we're claiming words back. We're trying to give words back their heaviness that grounds us because words are a very serious thing. And when I say something to someone, when I say a word to someone, this is my way to carry myself, my meaning, what's in my mind. Maybe what I feel is the divine to you. So that's a very special thing to be able to do, and much appreciated thing should, or at least should be appreciated. And we want to bring the heaviness back to the words, the good heaviness, the comforting heaviness, the kind of like sense that, oh, I'm here. I'm here. And my words are here. My words are real. My words are not just flying in the air. And the words that people say to me are also real. And they're here. And they're heavy. They're landing with me. And I'm not saying so many of them necessarily. Or maybe I am. But whatever. The ones I say, I say. And they hold. So our word for today is going to be the Hebrew word ometz. Aleph, Mem, Tzadik. And it can be translated into English. Usually, I think it's translated as courage. And what I want us to do is to think together about this word ometz. And specifically, we'll do it with thinking about Esther, in the book of Esther, which we're going to read tonight in Purim. And I'll share with you a thought that really changed my understanding of the book of Esther and my understanding of ometz. And I really believe that, these stories that we have, that we remember together, are just things that were important enough for our ancestors to give to us. They didn't keep all the stories. I'm sure there were a million other stories, but they kept the stories and made them holy stories because they are there for us when we need it. And Esther is a story of crisis. Esther is a story of a redemption that is very different. We're going to do Pesach in a month, and we're going to have the redemption of like, I don't like this reality, and I can't take this reality, and I'm changing reality. That will be Pesach. But Esther is a story about, I hate this reality, and I'm working within this reality. Esther is not getting out of the palace. She's not getting out of the kind of like almost slavery that she's brought into. Esther is not changing the circumstances, but she's working within them and she's doing a lot there. And we're going to talk about it in a moment. But let's take 2 minutes to just check in with ourselves before we're entering. So just check in with yourselves, how you're doing today. It's kind of like a confusing day. So like what's going on for you? Just 2 minutes of checking in, paying attention, how you feel, what are the thoughts that are running in you. And if you want, you can also start thinking about what is courage for you? How does it feel in your body? When did you use it in your life? When do you need it most? Um, and I'll call you back in 2 minutes. So what's moving in me? And if you want, what's courage for me? Hey, thank you for starting to put some ideas about courage here. Being able to emotionally handle difficult situations, connection leading to strength over fear. So, courage, right, is really connected to fear or to an obstacle. There's something that needs to be overcome. Um, okay. And you know how like all the Ashkenazim are always saying to each other a shul, shkoyach, 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 which is like yeshar koach, like your strength should be strong. But the Sfaradim are saying to each other, chazak ve'baruch, you're strong and blessed, and they're answering chazak ve'ematz, you're strong and you should be courageous or stronger. Um, okay, thank you. So please feel free to keep populating the chat with more things. I'll be so glad to read it afterwards. But a few words about omits. So, you know, I'm not sure if we're all on the same page, so I'll just give a very short intro to Esther's story. But Esther, the book of Esther starts with the story of this very big festival or party that the king Ahasuerus is throwing. And in this party, he's asking his wife, the queen, to do something. She disagrees. Long story short, he kills her, and then he's looking for a new queen. And to do that, he just forces all the young virgin women in the country to be collected to the capital, and then he's going to see who's the right woman for him. One of the women that is being taken against her own will is this woman called Esther, and Esther is an orphan, and she's an orphan who's being adopted by an uncle called Mordechai. And I'm not going to get into all the interpretations. Doesn't matter for us right now, but like, I just want to say that in modern Hebrew, the word for adopting, for adoption, is le'ametz. To adopt, le'ametz. And you can hear that it's the same letters of ometz. And also to hug very strongly someone, which I think is where this word comes in modern Hebrew, is to embrace, to le'ametz. Chibuk amitz is a very strong hug. And just like thinking about it, I was thinking just like about, courage and the courage that people need and the omits that people need. And if you learned with me in the past, you know that we always go back to Yemima's teaching where she says, "Mafsikali itametz," stop making so much effort. So effort in Hebrew and struggle is also from the same root, leitametz, to make a lot of effort. And Yemima always says, don't make emotional efforts. Your right to exist precedes all. So I kind of felt suddenly like a play with this word omits. What does it mean for us, especially in these times that we need omits? We need courage because things are so frightening and it feels like there's so many barriers. And how are we going to pass through? Omits is that thing, right? Omits, courage, omits is that thing that helps us to go through. What's really interesting, I think, when we're thinking about that anchor, about the word omits, is that in the book of Esther, we have the story goes that Ahasuerus, the king, chooses Esther to be his queen. And then she lives with him and she doesn't tell him she's Jewish. She doesn't, they have a very kind of like quiet relationship with a lot of silence. And at some point, when Haman, this high minister, decides to go and kill all the Jews, and he has this like drive to kill all the Jews, and he's asking the king to do that, and there's a decree, and Mordecai comes to the palace to Esther, and he tells her, you have to go to the king. You have to go to the king. In a way, I think in our modern ears, we hear it as like, you have to be courageous. You have to go to the king. And you would think that she would say, with all this pressure, yeah, I'll go. But Esther says, I will not go. It's really dangerous. Which you might think, and we might feel in our modern ears, that is like, it's really not courageous. Really? He's telling her they're going to be killing all the Jews. Go to the king. And she's saying, no, this is what's happening in the book. She's saying, no. She's saying, I'm not going to go. It's dangerous. I haven't been called for 30 days. And you know very well that if you're not called 30 days, and you're coming by your own volition, you'll be killed unless the king decides by his good mercy to give you this gold spectator. Um, so she's saying no, and you might think she's a coward. And a lot of the interpreters of the book of Esther are kind of like telling us that really there's a story here of a person who needed to be courageous and with the encouragement of her uncle became courageous. She was like not courageous and now she became courageous. There's a story of kind of like a shift that we're being told. I think I at least was told in my childhood that Esther was like really afraid and she was like so afraid. And now Mordechai says to her after she says no, don't think that you can run away to the house of the king. If you're not going to do it, someone else will do it, and you and your household, you and your father's house will perish. And who knows if for this moment you got to the queenship. That's what he says to her. And then she says to him, okay, I'm going to do it. But she has her conditions, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But I just want to stop for a moment on that spot where people explain to us again and again that this is like a shift. She was like really afraid, and now he told her the right words, and now she's courageous and she's going for it. But I found it pretty actually amazing that Esther is saying to him, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna do the omits, the courage, the way you necessarily see it. I'm not gonna power through. I kind of just feel like it's a very important thing to know that it's possible. And Yemima has a beautiful teaching where she says it's really important to give space for your doubts. You don't have to jump right away to something because someone told you that you had to do something. She says Esther knew how to have her doubts, and Moshe Rabbeinu knew how to have his doubts when Hashem tells him, go and save the Jewish people. He's saying, no, I can't. I'm not good enough. I can't speak. You might think like, why? Why do we have these weird stories? Why don't we have these people who are courageous? They hear that something needs to happen and they just go. She says, no, it's actually really important. It's important that you can be with your doubts for a moment. It doesn't mean that you're not courageous. There are omits, courage also means to hug. It also means to adopt. It also means to really embrace someone. And sometimes omits means I'm going to do something that is against my fears and I'm going to go and overcome a barrier, but I'm not going to power through by myself as a hero. Esther says to Mordechai, listen, I hear that you feel that it's really urgent. I hear that you feel that it's really urgent. It is really urgent. When he comes back to her, right, and she said already no, and he says to her, you have to do it. If you don't do it, who will do it? Someone else maybe, and you will perish. She says to him, you would think she would say, okay, 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 fine, I'll do it. It's urgent. I hear it, it's urgent. But no, she's actually not, she's not buying into the urgency. She's saying to him, in this most urgent time, let's take 3 days and fast. You might think that it's actually a crazy thing to do. It's urgent. You have to go to the king. But she's actually saying, I need, my courage works differently. I'm going to take 3 days to fast. I need to make space for this thing. I need to agree to this thing. And she says, "Kasher avadati avadati, and if I'll perish, I'll perish." And I'm accepting this. I'm leaving with my fear. I'm not erasing my fear. I might perish. It's possible. And she's saying, and go and speak to the people that they need to be with me. And if you remember, we mentioned here the metaphor of the redwoods in the past, but like the redwoods are the highest, tallest trees in the world, and they have very shallow roots, but they're standing in groves because their roots are held by each other under the ground. And Esther, in a way, says to Mordechai, go and tell the people to fast with me. We need to be be'ometz, meaning to adopt each other, to embrace each other. I need to feel the embrace of the people for me to be able to go in. I need to give myself the embrace to be able to go in. I'm not going to push myself. I'm going to embrace myself. And maybe there are people who already read the story like this, but for me, it was a new thought and a new kind of reading of omits. And yeah, so I feel like we live in times that require courage from us. And sometimes courage is something you want to let go of. And it's fine. Esther considers it. You should be able to consider it if you need to not to be courageous. And you can also be courageous in a different way. Esther gives us a different way to be courageous, which is to go together, to be asked, to be embraced, to give yourself the hug and the embrace that you need so that you can stand and feel this shakiness inside you when you're standing in front of a king that might kill you because you feel that you're able to do it or to take the chance and you know that you might perish. And it could be as big as Esther and it could be smaller in other parts of our life. Um, I had this aspiration. You know, there's a saying, you know, the Purim is like a big deal. I feel like sometimes in some places where we grow, we feel like Purim is a kid holiday. It's like a holiday for children. They're dressing up, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're making the noise. But Purim is actually a very serious holiday for adults. It's not a holiday for children. And the Hasidic masters tell us Purim Kippurim. Purim is like Yom Kippur. Purim is a really important holiday, and you know that there are things that are similar between Purim and Yom Kippur. For example, the pool, right? The kind of like the destiny. How do you call pool? Um, in Yom Kippur, we have these two goats, and we're gonna kind of like gamble which one is going to go to Azazel and which one is going to go to God. And in Purim, we have that gamble that Haman does on our life. But I think there's something there that Yom Kippur and Purim are both days that are very different, but are deeply on this place of uncertainty. We are afraid for our life, and how are we going to move forward? One thing that the Hasidic masters suggest is that in the middle of the night on Purim, Chatzot, people should get together, hopefully drunk, and they should stand in courts of three, and they should give decrees to each other. You who want to, I don't know, buy a house this year, you should have a house this year. You who want to get married this year, you would be married this year. You who want to have a child this year, you who want peace in Israel, you will get it. And they say you have to be very serious court and really give the verdict to the people. I love this idea, but at the same time, again, I feel like it's kind of like forcing. It's a very forceful method. But I did think that I would be, I would love to send tonight at 9 p.m., so in about 12 hours, a message to all of us. Because in the East Coast, it will be midnight. So some of you will be up and some of you probably will be asleep. But if some of you will be up and drunk, or up and not drunk, I thought that maybe we'll just stop for like 2 minutes to just feel each other and send each other good wishes and send good wishes to our people, as like a kind of like a court that is embracing rather than giving verdicts. So I'll send this text, and if you don't want to be woken up by it, just put your phone on silent. But for now, unfortunately, I have to leave, but I would love to hear the rest of this session, but I'm going to just pass it to Ariella and Radalia and Rabbanit Eliza. But Bezrat Hashem, I just wish all of us good courage embracing courage, believing that we can move on with embracement, if it's a real word in English. If not, I hope you understood what I was meaning. And really a lot of omets. Purim Sameach. And we'll have to be in touch about next Oganim, because Ariel and I need to figure it out. But much love to all of you.
Thank you so much, Naama. That was really incredible and really
Thank
helped
you.
ground me and I'm sure everybody else on this day and anchor us into our week and into this very incredible holiday that's coming during a very, very confusing time. And I want to kind of highlight a little bit about today. So today is Taanit Esther. It is the fast of Esther. As Naama mentioned, Esther asked everyone to come together and fast for her. And as I was thinking about this day, it occurred to me that this fast day is actually different than all the other fast days we have. All the fast days, except for Yom Kippur, which is similar to Purim, they're all a reflection on some type of experience of destruction. The temple was destroyed, we fast. There was a siege around Jerusalem, we fast. And they're all something where we look back and say, wow, that was a really difficult experience. And to mark that really difficult experience, we're going to fast. And today is a very different day. Today is not a day where we're looking back, but it's a day where we're in the midst of this process of going towards Purim. And if you read Rabbanit Eliza's beautiful piece, it talks about how this might be the time where they were actually in the midst of the battle. It could also be that this is marking, even though it's not the exact same date, but it's marking the fast that everyone did to pray for Esther, that she should survive and that her omets should take her into the castle and she should be successful. And it's this in the midst of the experience type of day. And it's also a day that precedes something good that's coming, right? Purim is not a story of destruction. It's a story of celebration and of success and of a good outcome for the Jewish people. So it is so striking to me that I feel like in this moment, we're sitting in the midst of a difficult experience. And hopefully, we're on our way towards something better, towards a better outcome, like we have on Purim. And in the midst of this experience, what the day was really about was praying for Esther and thinking about Esther and hoping that her efforts would succeed. And so I'm really thinking about so many people today, but particularly the people that I know that are in Israel. And I'm so grateful that Rabbanit Eliza is able to be here with us. So I'd really love to hear from Rabbanit Eliza. And in my mind right now, she's holding this Esther energy with her, and she's kind of walking in her ways. And I'd love, Rabbanit Eliza, if you could share with us what life is like for you, what reflections and beautiful insights you have for us.
Thank you so much, Dahlia. I didn't really prepare anything. Um, I guess I just want to say hello and say that, um, when I was in America and things were happening in Israel, I felt like, oh, I'm not in it. I wish I could be part of things. And even now that I'm in Jerusalem, I kind of feel like, oh, I'm not in it. Like I'm in it in the sense that I am running to this safe room multiple times, but I'm not in it in the sense that I'm like, my job here is just to be, right? It's just to survive, basically, like to get into the safe room and to make sure that my daughter and my dog and my husband, probably in that order, like get into the safe room as well. So, so I think it's interesting the way that I'm here, and yet every time you're closer, it still feels like you're not really doing enough. I'm not out there fighting. I'm not out there doing any of those things. But I am so grateful that I am here, and there is nowhere I'd rather be.
Thank you so much, Rabbanit Lisa. And I think, that desire to be there and to be as close as possible is another reflection of omets, right? It's like, I just want to be a part of this. I want to, it's the embrace the Naama we're talking about. I want to embrace my people and be a part of everything, or just having the courage to be as close as possible. So thank you. And I want to really take us into that place of doing what the people did for Esther on those 3 days, which was really to fast. So if anyone's fasting, or if you're not fasting, that's totally fine, because really the fasting was a form of tefillah, of prayer. And so together, I want to recite a prayer together that is connected to fast days, and that's said on those days. And that when I was looking at the words and reflecting on this moment, it just really felt like the right words for today. So I will read it with you. I'm just going to make my screen so that I can see it. And while we're looking at this tefillah together, if you have other words of tefillah that are speaking to you, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'd love to see them, and we can say amen to them as well. Aninu Adonai Aninu biyom som ta'anitenu, ki b'tzara gdola anachnu. Al tefen al rashenu v'al taster panecha mimenu v'al tit'alem et tzchinatenu. Hayena karov l'shatenu yichina chastecha lenachamenu. Terem nikra lecha anenu k'davar shenamar v'haya terem yikra'enu v'ani enen. Od ha-medabrim v'ani ashma ki ata Adonai ha'ona be'et tzara poda u'matzil v'chol et tzara v'tzukah. Answer us, God, answer us on the day of our fasting, for we are in great trouble. Do not regard our wickedness, do not conceal your countenance from us, and do not be unmindful of our supplication. Please be near to our cry, let your loving kindness console us. Even before we call out unto you, answer us, as it said, and it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, while they are yet speaking. I will hear. For you, God, are the one who answers in time of trouble, who redeems and rescues in all times of troubles and distress. And I really love this part about saying that, like, God will answer even before we call out, because I think the fact that we have this day set up for us in this moment is almost an answer before we even knew to call out, right? This day was placed here in this moment for us to say, this is the moment that we need. This is exactly the day that we need as we head into Purim, for us to be able to take that pause, to see what courage is residing within us, to see what breath we need to take, and to gather together and offer this tefillah for our people. So we can, we'll take the tefillah off the screen. And I want to kind of close by giving us an opportunity to also reflect on that piece of courage that came out earlier that Naama mentioned, which is that courage is really sometimes related to fear. And there might be many different fears that each of us is experiencing. If we're where Elise is sitting, there might be fears of, can I get into the shelter in time, right? Like those physical fears. Some of us who are more distant may be feeling fears that might be about what community experiences we're having, what people might be saying. We might be fearful for other people in our lives. We might be also afraid that we're going to go back into a really elongated, hard time. And we might be having emotional fears or spiritual fears. And for all of those fears, there is one verse that really speaks to them that came to mind. And when I read it this morning, I saw something that I'd never seen before. So I want to share it with you. So it's Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar ma'od. The whole world is a very narrow bridge. V'ha'ikar lo lefachid klal. And the main thing is not to be afraid. And I've struggled with this verse before because I don't like to be told not to feel something. And I don't like this idea of being told, don't be afraid, right? If I'm afraid and you tell me not to be afraid, that's not going to help me not be afraid. I'm just going to now feel like, oh, now I have to hide it maybe. And I can't be really who I am. But when I looked at the word klal, I realized that klal is also a different word that doesn't just mean at all, right? It means like klal Yisrael. It's the group, it's the community, it's the people of Israel. And so when I was reading it, I was thinking maybe the ikar is not to be afraid, that we don't have to be afraid if we have the klal, if we're doing this all together, if we're going through these hardships together, then some of the fear we can let go of because we know that we're not alone. So that's how I'd like to read this verse today. And I'd love to hear any other readings that you have in the chat. And I found a really pretty version of it. The video doesn't work well, so I'm just going to play it and you can listen to it. And feel free to sing along and put in the chat. You can put in the chat anything that you're feeling some fears about right now and that you'd like our community to hold for you. And we can offer you that embrace and that hug and that feeling of togetherness as we acknowledge our fears and hope that we can overcome them together. Okay, so I'm going to share my sound and you're going to let me know if you can hear the music. And I'd be happy to share that version with you later if you'd like a link to the video and you could see it's a longer piece. Okay. So I'm just looking through the chat and I'm seeing some really beautiful things that people are writing. And I want to just give anybody an opportunity. If there's anything else you want to place there for our community to hold, we're here for you. And we're all in this together. Lola Fache Klal, we don't have to be afraid when we're together because we have each other. And we're with Esther as we head into Purim. So we'll stay on for another minute if anyone else wants to put anything else in the chat. And Rabbanita Lisa, it's almost Purim for you. So we're ushering you into your Purim and we're here with you. And we're so, so glad to see you and to hear from you.
Thank you. Happy Purim, everybody.
Wishing everybody all the courage you need.
And Rabbi Dalia, I want to thank you for in the middle of everything and in the middle of the night, as usual, just knowing that we needed not just Naama's beautiful Ogen, but also a space for tefillah, for prayer, and for the things that we're all holding, and knowing that coming together in the spirit of this day, this fast of Esther itself, was exactly what was right. So thank you for taking time out of your crazy schedule and making space for all of us for community and holding us so well and so beautifully.
Thank you. Well, this is where I needed to be for myself, so it was kind of selfish, but it's so nice to be with everybody. And it's amazing how just how things are happening right at this moment. It's quite something.
I know, Eliza, is it like totally wild over there? Like, what does it feel like walking through? There is no walking, but like seeing your neighbors, and what are people saying to each other? How are you holding each other there? What's
Uh,
the, what's surprising you in ways, experiencing it now firsthand rather than as an observer like the rest of us?
well, I think for me, it's something new, but for the rest of the people here, they've been doing it for a really long time. Like during the last Iran bombardment, everybody had to be inside. So I think people are really taking it very easy here, or at least as much as they can. Um, I think that was for sure true before Beit Shemesh.
Mm.
Um, um, and then people in Jerusalem always say, "Oh, they would never hit us here." But there was just some shrapnel that fell like very close to the old city. So all the things that people thought are perhaps not as definitive as they think. Um, I think that unfortunately, I think Israelis are used to this, and I think that they know what to do. Like lots of my daughter's perm festivities were canceled. But they did something on Zoom, and maybe they'll do something later. And I don't know what I'm doing for Megillah reading. Um, I don't know if I'm listening on Zoom or if I'm going into a shelter to hear it. Um, I don't know, but I think on the whole, there's this feeling like this is the right thing to be doing, and we just have to hold steady. So I guess that's my job right now.
Do they give you strength, like watching them having done this before? Or are you looking around at them and just going, oh my God, like what? This is not normal. The fact that you think this is normal is upsetting, or is it strengthening?
Oh, I would say being in Israel is not normal. Like in general, being in Israel is not normal. Like it's not a normal existence, right? Like what was it, Ben Gurion who said like to be a realist in Israel, have to believe in miracles. Like I think that it's just a different way of thinking about the world. And so I'm going with it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm lucky because, like my kids are older. It's not like I have to rush little babies into a safe room in the middle of the night. Um, it's and people have their spouses being called up to serve. They just called up, I think, 100,000 people to serve. So I kind of feel like I need to be doing more. Not really doing that much.
I want to just also say thank you to you for the beautiful email that you sent all of us today, where you were like so kind in calling all of us in. And I don't know, I'm gonna take you at your word because I know you long enough to believe that you always speak the truth. But that the idea of the ways that we can be strengtheners and calling us in, that was such a gift. So thank you, like so much, to say that the ridiculous text messages that I send, not just to you, but to all the other people, are actually things that make a difference, and the ways that
Absolutely.
we can show up.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah,
And they made such a difference that they instituted it as a day for future generations because maybe to show that this kind of stuff makes a difference. Being there for people makes a difference.
thank
Yeah.
you. I think it feels so hard to be, as somebody also mentioned it in the chat earlier, it feels so hard to be far away. So thank you.
Yeah. And it also feels hard to be far away from Carol and Dahlia, right? Like in Minnesota.
Right. Yes.
We are all the redwoods, right? We are all in different places and we are connected underground.
Okay, we're gonna think of you all Purim long.
Thank you.
We send you all our love. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dahlia. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And Chag Sameach.
Yeah, it's true, yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Just pretend it's a harem.
Amazing. Okay, thank you, everybody.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye.